As you're being seated, if you'll find Revelation chapter 6. We're going to read the entire chapter here in just a couple of minutes. Revelation chapter 6. John Stott, in his book, The Incomparable Christ, says that Revelation is like a gallery of pictures of Jesus. Such a powerful general statement about this book we've been working our way through over the last number of months. A gallery of pictures of Jesus. We glance back to chapter 1, you'll see Jesus appeared to John at the beginning of the book of Revelation, and he appeared, white hair and fiery eyes and a white robe. He appeared in unsplendored majesty and authority. And then Jesus takes the role of message giver and announces to John 7 sermons to the 7 churches in chapters 2 and 3. And we move into chapters 4 and 5, and we're told Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, but that's not how we see him. We see him come on the scene as a lamb with 7 eyes and 7 horns, a lamb that had been slain. Each chapter painting, in a sense for us, a new image, reminding us a new picture of Jesus. And I want to invite you and I to keep that concept in front of us this morning as we work through chapter 6. Because while these pictures of Jesus look a little bit different, what also begins to happen in the book of Revelation is we move into this section of the book and we begin to see symbols. And we're going to begin to see judgments described in different ways. And before we get through Revelation, we're going to see beasts, and we're going to see creatures, and we're going to see other expressions of symbolic language to paint for us a picture of what's going to happen as the end times unfold. And that's going to become very obvious to us as we read through chapter 6 here in just a moment. Before we read through the chapter, I want to take you and I back a few months to the beginning of the series and just highlight 2 guiding principles that I unpacked for us some months ago as we start this morning's message. I just want to put these back in front of us so we don't lose sight of what we're meant to watch, what we're meant to look for as we work our way through Revelation. I remind you of this. What's most certain and stable in Revelation centers on Jesus. The book is by Jesus, the revelation of Jesus Christ. He was the one to give the messages of his revelation to John and to invite John into the throne room and to invite John into heaven. And John had a chance to see the glorious splendor of heaven unfold in what will take place. But what's most certain and stable in the book centers on Jesus. And as you and I hold to that, as you and I hold to the certainty and stability of Jesus in the book of Revelation, we begin to develop a trust regardless of how the end days unfold. As we enter into chapter 6 and following, okay, we're going to begin to see some of the reasons why commentators and theologians and Bible students landed so many different places about how or when or what unfolds in our view of end times. But what I don't want you and I to miss as we do that is Jesus is the focal point. That's what we're looking for. You and I are looking for Jesus in every verse, on every page, in every chapter. And what I'm going to invite us to do as we work through chapter 6 is not to lose sight of Jesus. Okay? So let's listen along to what John tells us beginning in verse 1 of Revelation chapter 6. Now I watched when the Lamb opened one of the 7 seals. And I heard one of the 4 living creatures say, with a voice like thunder, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a white horse. And its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he came out conquering and to conquer. When he opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd living creature say, "Come." And out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so that the people should slay one another, and he was given a great sword. When he opened the 3rd seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come," and I looked, and behold, a black horse, and its rider had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. And they were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill with the sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by wild beasts of the earth. When he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the witness they had borne. They cried out with a loud voice, "O sovereign Lord, holy and true, how long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth?" Then they were each given a white robe and told to rest a little longer. Don't miss that phrase, verse 11, those 3 words, a little longer, until the number of their fellow servants and their brothers should be complete, who were to be killed as they themselves had been. When he opened the sixth seal, I looked, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, the full moon became like blood, and the stars of the sky fell to earth as the fig tree sheds its winter fruit when shaken by a gale. The sky vanished like a scroll that is being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth and the great ones and the generals and the rich and the powerful and everyone, slave and free, hid themselves in caves and among the rocks of the mountains, calling to the mountains and rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of the wrath is come, and who can stand?" You don't actually read about the seventh seal being opened until chapter 8. Chapter 7 of Revelation is somewhat of an intermission. And what we've just read focuses our attention on Jesus' supremacy, his majesty, his authority, his provision for those who are his own, and ultimately his judgment. I want to invite you and I just to ponder 3 truths that chapter 6 invites us to consider about Jesus specifically. You and I will notice this as we work our way through this over these next few minutes together. First of all, I want you and I to consider Jesus is sovereign over all of history. Jesus is sovereign over all of history. If you go back and read the first 4 seals, Chapter 6, verses 1 through 8. Scholars and Bible students and writers about Revelation are going to land in some different places about what's happening here. Is John describing events that have yet to take place, or is John describing the unfolding of all of history? As a matter of fact, even there's debate and discussion about who the 4 horsemen are on each of these horses. The first horse, you'll notice, is a white horse. The rider has a bow and a crown. I just invite you at your leisure sometime this week to glance ahead to Revelation chapter 19, where we're introduced to Jesus coming back in authority and majesty on what? On a white horse. Could it be that Revelation chapter 6 is giving us a glimpse of Jesus at his first coming and then the unfolding of history? Well, regardless of whether we land on the view that chapter 6 is things yet to happen in the future, or regardless of whether we believe that chapter 6 shows us the unfolding of history for the original readers all the way up until now, until Jesus comes back, here's what I don't want you and I to miss at all. It's Jesus who walked up to the throne as the lamb that had been slain and took the scroll from his Father's hand. It's Jesus who opened the scroll and began to loose the seals. And what happened as Jesus loosed each of the seals, the announcement from heaven was given as history or as the end times continued to unfold, and God's recompense and God's authority and God's majesty was put on display. Here's the point I don't want us to miss at all. What Revelation 6 reminds you and I of is that Jesus is sovereign over all of history. It's really the message of the Bible that we have just told to us from a little bit different angle. Revelation chapter 6 tells us Jesus, the ruler of this world, the only one worthy to take the scroll from his Father's hand, takes it to himself and begins to open the scroll and loose its seals. But the rest of the Bible has been telling us this already. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Jesus was present with God at the creation of the world, and Jesus was there as the world was spoken into existence. If we move a little bit further into the Old Testament, we see a passage like Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, where Joseph looked at his brothers who had mistreated him and sold him into slavery and thought he was dead, and God had preserved his life, and Joseph said, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." We flash forward to a passage like Romans 8, verse 28. God works all things together for the good of those who love him, to those who are called according to his purpose. And I could give you dozens and dozens more verses all throughout the scriptures that tell us simply this: God is in charge. God is sitting on the throne. He has never relinquished that spot in all of time and all of eternity. And his Son Jesus came and accomplished, through his death, burial, and resurrection, the redemption that we entered into in salvation when we repented and believed. And his authority did not stop when he became our Savior. It continues in our lives as we follow him as Lord. And what Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 through 8 remind us of, what they declare in picture form, what they tell us in this snapshot of a vision as Jesus opens the scroll and looses the seals, is that Jesus is in charge of everything we face. I don't want you to lose sight of that. There is not a person or a situation or a circumstance or a trial or a storm or a ruler or a leader or a thorn in your flesh. There's nothing that happens out from underneath God's authority and God's power. Revelation 6 reminds us that Jesus is sovereign over all of history. The big things and the small things. The grave challenges and the grave concerns and the minor ones. He is ruler. He is king. He is authority. When we come to the text, and let's not lose sight of this, the original readers of Revelation, the people the book was first given to, were churches in turmoil. They were churches dealing with uncertainty. They were churches that were facing persecution and mistreatment. We're going to look at that from a little bit different angle here in just a moment. They were churches that needed to be reminded of the hope and the majesty and the power of Jesus. And coming out of the throne room scene of Revelation 4 and Revelation 5, what we have Revelation 6 declaring is Jesus is king over it all. And you and I need to be reminded of that. You and I need to be reminded of that today. Some of you walked in here with some stuff that you've been carrying, you've been afraid of, you've been unsettled by, you've been anxious with, and you just need to be reminded what God's Word declares, that Jesus is over that. Jesus is over your yesterday and your today and your tomorrow. Jesus is sovereign over all of history. I want you to notice what else Revelation chapter 6 invites you and I to see about Jesus. Jesus is going to bring forth justice for all of those who remain faithful to him. I want you to look back to verses 9 through 11. The fifth seal that was opened. When he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the witness they had borne. They cried out with a loud voice, "O sovereign Lord, holy and true, how long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth?" Then they were each given a white robe and told to rest a little longer until the number of their fellow servants and their brothers should be complete, who were to be killed as they themselves had been. When you just listen to the natural reading of those verses, what we're invited to contemplate is that those who are being represented in verses 9 through 11 are people all across history who have given their lives for the gospel, We may naturally think of stories like Jim Elliot and the missionaries that were with him in Ecuador who gave their life for the gospel. But there are also others that even the Scriptures remind us of. If you go back to Hebrews chapter 11, the very end of the chapter, you'll see the writer of Hebrews describes those who gave up everything for their commitment to Christ and their faithfulness to God. Even one of the early disciples, one of the first apostles, a man by the name of James, before the book of Acts is over, he loses his life as a result of his commitment to Jesus. And in Revelation chapter 6, verses 9 to 11, the fifth seal that is opened is an opportunity for heaven to hear the grievances of these martyrs. They look out from all across history. But believers from every corner of the world. Some of us may even naturally think in our minds of believers in places like the Middle East or Russia, maybe in a bygone day, or North Korea or China. We might picture some of our brothers and sisters around the world throughout church history who gave up everything for their faithfulness and their allegiance and their submission to Jesus. And these are crying out to God for justice. They're crying out to God to avenge the sacrifice they made for himself. Now for others of us, and I might even include myself in this group, it's hard for us to fully contemplate what the text is getting at in Revelation chapter 6, verses 9 to 11. Because when we look around at our life experience, when we look around at our uncertainties and our difficulties and our challenges, I would say very few, if any of us, have ever legitimately been afraid of being aggressively mistreated or imprisoned or lose our life for the sake of the gospel. As a matter of fact, we look around our nation, and things are far different than they used to be, and they're perhaps not nearly as comfortable as they were years ago or decades ago for us as followers of Jesus, but we still have yet, do you realize we still have yet to face what some of our brothers and sisters face around the world right now? We still have yet to face the potential of losing our life for the sake of the gospel. So it's hard for us to relate. I was reminded just recently here at church about how hard it is for us to relate to the reality of what some of our brothers and sisters face around the world. We had a young girl who was visiting with a church family here at Pleasant Garden who grew up in China. And her family were followers of Jesus. They grew up in an underground church. And as we were talking just recently, she began to share with me that in their home, her background, where she grew up, they couldn't keep Bibles out. They had to hide their Bibles so that no one would see that they had a Bible in their house that acknowledged Jesus and they were worshipers of Jesus. And I haven't been able to escape that thought since I had that conversation with her just recently. As a matter of fact, just the other day, I walked into my office and I looked at one of my shelves and I've got 22 Bibles, if I counted right. All displayed on my shelf. No hesitations, no qualms here at the office. I've got Bibles on my shelf at home. You know, I've never once worried about having to hide my Bible. I've never once thought, gee, who's going to walk in and who's going to see that I'm a Christ follower and what they're going to do to me as a result of having those Bibles out on my shelf. Some of us have a hard time getting our mind around what the text is dealing with. But what I don't want us to miss is what Jesus offered to these who had given up everything. Because there's a beautiful silver lining for you and I. While we may not ever, who knows what will happen, perhaps it could take place for some of us. Maybe circumstances will change so dramatically here that before it's all said and done, some of us are included in this number, but we don't know that. What we do know is that there's a beautiful silver lining in the text for every single one of us. And it's that phrase I asked you to consider a moment ago in chapter 6, verse 11. Those three simple words. The message that God gave to those who were rightly seeking His vindication and His justice. And the message God gave to their heart was a little longer. A little longer. A little longer. What that reminds us of is that the character of God's heart as He looks upon us in our seasons and circumstances and challenges and difficulties, I've said it before, I'll say it again, we don't get to pick our struggles. We don't get to pick our storms. We don't get to pick our uncertainties. We don't get to pick our difficulties. But we know that one who sits on the throne, who's ruling all of history, nothing that we face takes Him by surprise. And when He looks down at us as followers of Jesus, the message that He gives to us is a little longer. How long do we persevere? How long do we wait? How long do we hold on? How long do we sustain ourselves? Just a little longer. The theme of what the text is telling us all throughout the book of Revelation, one of the key messages, if perhaps, maybe even the central message of application for you and I as Christ followers from the book of Revelation is this. It's this picture of endurance. It's this picture of perseverance. When the churches that received this book first, the believers who were facing persecution, they were watching Rome and the cities and the communities that were idol worshipers and that were mistreating followers of Christ. And some had even watched their neighbors and their loved ones lose their lives, and others had seen them imprisoned. When they received these words for the first time, and they heard these words in their church context many hundreds of years ago, the message that they heard from Jesus was one of endurance and perseverance. I mean, it's the same message Jesus has for you and I today. The reward, the promise of security is to those of us who persevere. Those of us who weather what life brings at us. Those of us who resist the temptations and the idolatries and the pulls of evil and the drain and the slow drip against the Christianity here in the United States or our journeys as followers of Jesus. And folks, I realize that the things that will pull us away from Jesus are oftentimes far more subtle than the dramatic visibility of persecution against God's people. But what I realize in my own life that I know you wrestle with too is the fact that a world out there is wanting to get our gaze off of Jesus. It's wanting to distract us from persevering. It's wanting to pull us into a place where we just kind of throw in the towel. We give up, we give in, we walk away. Stuff happens. Irritations arise, schedules change, and before you know it, you've slipped out of some habits of being a Christ follower, whether it's your time in the Word or your time with God's people. And then it goes a little bit longer, and some other things happen, and some other legitimate reasons kind of serve to create and complement those irritations. And before you know it, you're a whole lot further away from Jesus than you've ever been. And you may even find yourself in a stretch where it appears no one else is noticing. You're the only one to slip back. You haven't gotten a phone call. You haven't gotten a text message. Nobody's reached out to you. And all of a sudden you start to wonder, does anybody care? And you see yourself drifting further and further away. And here's the message of Revelation. To you and I, wherever we find ourselves, whatever happens to be creating that distance or that temptation or that wedge between us and Jesus, the message of Revelation is this: endure. Wait. Hold on, persevere, maintain your commitment to Jesus, grip Him and hold to Him, and strengthen yourself by Him, and be fully committed to Him, regardless of what comes, regardless of what struggles or challenges or temptations you face, which invites you and I, and you see the point already there on the screen, to be reminded that Jesus is the vindicator. Notice how the text finishes chapter 6. Jesus will hold sinful, unrepentant people accountable. Look at how the last two verses picture this. The last two verses of the chapter, verses 16 and 17. The text tells us that all of those, the rich and the poor and the powerful and the not so powerful, the slave and the free, run away from God's judgment and cry out, fall on us to the mountains, cry out, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of their wrath is come, and who can stand? If you read other passages of Scripture, like what you might find in Daniel or Ezekiel, particularly passages like Matthew 24 and 25, what you're going to see, the very end of Revelation chapter 6, verses 12 through 17, parallels some of the visible or some of the visual descriptiveness of Jesus' return. Earthquakes and the sun growing dark. What the message of the chapter is reminding us of is that one day Jesus is coming to settle accounts. One day Jesus is coming to right all wrongs. One day Jesus is coming, and he's not coming again as Redeemer. He came as Redeemer. He paid the penalty for your sins and my sins. We anticipate the goodness of celebrating that over the next few weeks as we come up on Easter. I just implore each and every one of us as followers of Jesus to meditate on how good it is that Jesus died on the cross for your sins and my sins, that we contemplate it, that we remind ourselves of it, that we rehearse it in our hearts. He came as Redeemer, but listen, when he comes back, he's coming as ruler. If you go ahead and read the other chapter description of this event, the unfolding of Jesus' wrath in Revelation chapter 19, you'll see there's not even a battle. The enemies of Jesus come out to fight him, and all Jesus does is speak, and the battle's over. He is coming as ruler. He is coming to right our wrongs. And here's the thing. All of those that happen to be here when Jesus comes back like this, all of those that have not repented, become Christ followers, that have not given their life to Jesus, that have not confessed his authority and his lordship, all of those who are on the other side of his kingdom become his enemies that stand in place of judgment. Now, I'm grateful that as I look ahead toward the unfolding of history, whenever this takes place, I'm grateful that when Jesus comes back, he's coming back as king. I'm grateful that he's coming back to right our wrongs. I'm grateful that he's coming back to set all the records straight. But folks, I'm going to tell you something I hope this does in my heart, and I hope it does in yours. When we see the snapshots of Jesus' judgment, when we see the majesty and the awe and the frightfulness of his judgment, I hope it reminds you and I that there are people around us who don't know him, who need to know him, who need to experience his grace and his forgiveness before it's too late. You see, one of the key themes of the book of Revelation, one of the reasons it was given to the churches and it was given to us is to remind us that there's coming a time when we pass the window of being able to repent and believe. There's coming a time when Jesus returns, it's those for him and those against him. And there's no longer the opportunity to be made right with him in the same way that we have right now. And you and I have the opportunity to look around us and see a lost and broken and hurting and grieving world, a needy world, a confused world, a world that's struggling to make sense of their experiences and their circumstances and their relationships. And do you know what God's given us? He's given us the answer. He's given us himself as the Redeemer. He's given us salvation that has been mighty and faithful and merciful to us and to our soul. Jesus has come alongside. Jesus has come alongside of us, and he's fixed some of us, hasn't he? Has he fixed some of us? He's forgiven us, hasn't he? He's looked down upon us and he's seen us worthy of his love and compassion, even when we didn't deserve it and we didn't earn it. And here's the beauty. He's given us the opportunity to go out as his hands and feet into a world that desperately needs to see his goodness, because one day he's going to come back and he's going to hold sinful people and unrepentant people accountable. But that's the nature of his character that he will hold unholiness accountable. But do you know what he longs to do? He longs to turn unholy ones into holy ones. He longs to save souls. He longs to redeem sinners. And he wants to do in those you care about who are far from him, he wants to do in them what he's done in you. For you and I, the invitation of the text is not to miss what's central for what's peripheral. All of us came in here this morning with stuff pulling at our attention and focus. Some stuff that's important matters, weighty circumstances, complicated relationships, serious uncertainties. I'm not diminishing what we came in here with, but I am saying that all of us came in here with things pulling our gaze away from the central to the peripheral. Have you ever noticed that if you're looking here, and all of a sudden you look here, what you were looking at that was central now has become in your peripheral view, and what's over here that was in your peripheral view, you're now looking at centrally? Have you noticed that? See, what can happen for us, even working through Revelation, is we can be guilty of this. We can be guilty of missing what's central. What's central in the book of Revelation is Jesus. What's peripheral, not that it's unimportant, but what's peripheral are the nature, the timing of the judgments, when all this is going to take place, exactly what all the symbols mean, that's peripheral. It's not unimportant, it's just that if it becomes central, it becomes a distraction that gets in the way of us doing what God has called, commissioned, and created us to accomplish. Back to this idea of central peripheral. Do you know how important it is that you keep your eyes on what's central? I know we get this, especially when it comes to driving, right? I mean, if you're looking over here, you're supposed to be looking down the road and glancing in your mirrors. But what happens if you turn over here to the right? Apparently, y'all are just wonderful drivers. We become susceptible to drift, to danger, to destruction. Some years ago, back before Diana and I were married, I had a 1991 Honda Civic. It was a 5-speed. It had no air conditioning. It had been in at least one, maybe two wrecks before we bought it. My brother and I were rooming together as we were working at the same church, and we got a great deal on this vehicle from somebody that we went to school with, and it had close to 200,000 miles when we got it. But it was one of those cars that just went forever and ever and ever and ever. As a matter of fact, I ended up driving it for about 100,000 miles, and now I sold it for more money than I paid for it. It's just one of those wonderful cars that just had a tremendous longevity. But one particular morning, I was driving to work, getting ready to go to the office. And this was one of those cars that was back before power steering. How many of you can remember cars before power steering? Yeah. Some of you kids, y'all were just never going to experience life without driving a car that didn't have power steering. And not only that, because this car had been wrecked a time or two, it tended to drift right automatically. Better drift right than left. Did I say that out loud? It tended to drift right. And I was going to church that morning, and I would back the car around to pull out of our driveway. And where we were renting, we had this little pathway of a road that exited out to the main road. And on both sides of the little driveway, there was a ditch. Actually, it was more like a culvert. I mean, it was so deep and so wide that you could stand down in the bottom of it, and your head would be just barely above land level. And I know some of you already know where this is going, and you can go ahead and begin to anticipate how this is going to finish. That particular morning, the floorboard mat on the driver's side had gotten caught up underneath my gas pedal. What I should have done is stop the car, put it in neutral, put the parking brake on, open the door, reach down and straighten out the floor mat, but that's not what I did. Because I was in a hurry, because I was trying to get out of the driveway, I just reached down with my hand like this to start to shift the floor mat and left this hand on the steering wheel, a car without power steering that already drifted to the right. And I looked down, and the next thing I know, I'm in the culvert. I mean, I went from sitting like this to sitting like this. And the car was straight up and down. I thought to myself, my goodness gracious, what have I done? What am I going to do? I called one of my friends at church. He called a tow truck. They came out here, and the towman, he's trying so hard not to laugh at me for putting that thing in the ditch. Nobody else tried hard not to laugh at me for putting that thing in the ditch. But he tried. He ended up pulling that car out, no damage to the car whatsoever. Drove it for another couple of years. Didn't affect it at all. Do you know what happened? I took my eyes off what was central and put it on what was peripheral. I let a distraction, not an unimportant distraction. I needed to address the floor mat. The floor mat was going to create a bigger problem if I didn't address it, but I addressed it in the wrong way because I took my eyes off of what was central to address what was peripheral. And folks, you and I have got to guard our hearts and check our eyes and check our attention for the exact same thing. Because you and I can be tempted to take our eyes off of the central and put our focus on what's peripheral. Not that it's not important. Not that it doesn't matter. Not that it's not things that need to be addressed. Or we pour out our heart to God. We ask God for His grace and mercy. We ask Him to intervene and to intercede and to come alongside. Not that the things of the peripheral don't matter to God, but they're not central. You and I this morning need to keep our focus on Jesus, who's central. As we work our way through Revelation, we need to keep looking for Jesus, who's central. As we pick up and head out and deal with today and tomorrow and the rest of the week, you and I need to keep our gaze on Jesus, who's central. Would you bow your heads and close your eyes as we prepare for response in song and worship? I believe some of us came in here already distracted by some of what's peripheral. Not unimportant, but it's not central. I just want to invite you in these next few moments as we sing to ask God to do hard work. Followers of Jesus, we can subtly slip from keeping Jesus at the forefront of our mind and heart. We can subtly drift from having our focus and our attention on Him primarily. What have you allowed to distract you? What's dissuaded your gaze from being set on Jesus and Jesus alone? Perhaps there's somebody among us this morning, you've never begun a relationship with Jesus, the Redeemer, the one who's coming back as ruler. Perhaps there's someone right here that I had in mind just a couple of minutes ago as I was talking about the importance of us as followers of Jesus, sharing the good news about Jesus before it's too late. Maybe you're one of those. Maybe you're one of those that's never taken that first step toward Jesus. You've never begun a relationship with Him. You've never repented of your sins and asked Him to be your Savior and entered into a relationship of trust and fellowship. I know you're here at church and I'm grateful. Maybe you've never taken that first step toward Him relationally. And I just encourage you in these next few moments as we sing, there would be no greater time, no greater opportunity for you than to take that first step toward Him right now. I'll be down at the front. I'd love nothing more than to walk you in the first steps of a relationship with Jesus. For all the rest of us, I just invite you as we sing to turn your gaze back to Jesus. Focus on Him who's at the forefront and at the centerpiece and on the throne. And bring yourself under His authority and His